I am right, I will consistently be right. Because if I flip-flop on my position today and tomorrow based on the position I hold, it therefore means I am nothing other than a small conman. Therefore, even for those of us who are young leaders, let us not be swallowed into the bitterness and the desire for revenge of those who are older than us, the Wamunyos and Waminyo and the others, Honorable Speaker. If you are a younger leader, please be faithful in your representation of the people and their issues. Honorable Speaker, when I hear someone saying, oh, securitization is illegal borrowing, how can your conversion of an asset into a marketable security be borrowing, Honorable Speaker? And you know, because you want to sound intelligent, you move from one workshop, one classroom to the other, one training session to the other, saying, oh, the government is involved in illegal borrowing because we are doing securitization. If when I was the chair of the Public Investments Committee 10, 12 years ago, I authored a report together with the Honorable Conman to say that the government must innovate ways through which our parastatals can cease being dependent on the exchequer and have innovative ways of financing the operations in a commercially viable manner. If I held that position 12 years ago, I still hold the same position. I cannot flip-flop. I cannot say now if Kenya Power wants to securitize some of their funds, oh, it's illegal borrowing. Let us be honest. Let us also be objective in our criticism. I wish people would be like the Honorable Oundo, who at times criticizes, but does so objectively, and is consistent in his position. And even when he's not consistent, he knows he will tell you this is for politics. But you know, when somebody behaves...
Are you on a point of order?
When someone behaves as if...
Order, Honorable Majority Leader, Honorable Oundo is on a point of order. What's out of order?
The Majority Leader is extremely out of order. I do not politic with the facts. I don't politic on the floor of the House. I politic outside there. On the floor of the House, I debate based on facts and based on available information. You see, he just wants to prolong the debate. I like, sometimes he likes using me as an easy punching bag, but I take it positively.
Order. This is a political institution. Honorable Oundo, Parliament is a political
Honorable Speaker,
institution.
you know, Honorable Oundo is a very serious legislator. And you know, I have immense respect for him. And that is why I said, when he criticizes on the floor, he does it based on facts. And he's consistent. That is leadership. When he does it out there in politics, he will tell you that was politics. But here we deal with facts and figures. Now, what astonishes me, it's somebody who yesterday was a chair of a committee pushing through securitization. Today says securitization is illegal borrowing. Someone who yesterday was telling us the consumption of cement, steel is going up. Today, because it is politically expedient, can stand on the floor of Parliament because you think you have prime time TV to lie to the Kenyan people. That is what I'm saying. That is not leadership. And I want to encourage those of our younger brothers and sisters who sit in this house. Let us be faithful to the truth. Let us be objective. Let us not allow ourselves to be consumed by anger, revenge, and bitterness, because it is consuming those who are older. If you are younger, please don't allow that to consume you. Honorable Speaker, I heard someone say that in the region, the Kenyan economy is not the most dominant today. Facts again speak for themselves. Data speaks. The Kenyan economy remains the most resilient in the East African region, and actually, we have now moved from position 8 to position 6 as amongst the fastest growing economies in Africa, not in the region, Honorable Speaker. These are facts from the World Bank. I don't need to belabor them, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I may go on and on and on, but because I was simply replying, let me thank all the members who supported this motion positively, those who had alternative views based on facts. We have heard you. We are not in a hurry. This administration has only been about 3 years old. By 2027, when we go into elections, this administration will have walked the talk on the vision that His Excellency the President elucidated to this House and to the nation 3 years ago in his first State of the Nation address. And the story that he spoke about last week on Thursday, a story of sacrifice, resilience, determination, and an endeavor to move our country from the third world to a first world nation, is a story that this House is an active participant in, and I fondly noted the appreciation of the President on the role that Parliament plays in moving our country forward. Let us say no to the negativity, Honorable Speaker. Let us watch those older and the younger priests of eternal pessimism, but let us not lose our focus on the transformative journey that we began 3 years ago. And I want to believe, Honorable Speaker, His Excellency the President William Ruto and his administration will indeed put this nation on that trajectory to move our nation into a first world nation. The naysayers may not believe it, but it is coming right in front of their eyes. They can see the affordable housing units going up. They can see road projects that stalled 9, 7, 8 years ago today going on. Tomorrow, I invite them to Rironi, Limuru, to Mau Summit, to Nakuru, to Salga, to witness the transformation of the corridor to the western part of our country, so that next Christmas, the Honorable Oundo will not sleep on that highway. He'll be able to go home the way I go home to Kikuyu here using either the southern bypass, western bypass, or ABC Rironi dual carriageway. That is the Kenya we want for every Kenyan, and that Kenya is possible to be realized within our lifetime, if only we can take up the challenge that the President has thrown to us as leaders, to work together with him to transform our country for the better. With that, I beg to reply. I think this bill had already been debated by members, and 99.99% of all the members who contributed, I say 99.99, because probably there might be one who was not here who would have opposed this bill, but 99.99% supported this bill for our judges' retirement benefits bill of 2025. And Honorable Speaker, you know, for a long time, the pension of judges have continued to be governed under the Pensions Act of Cap 189, a framework, Honorable Speaker, which, foundationally, in its time, was good, is no longer reflective of the evolving roles of our judicial officers and more so our senior judges, and the roles and responsibilities that they carry, and of course the expectations that we have of a vibrant and independent judiciary today. Honorable Speaker, it's not fair that we subject our judicial officers when they have served this country, and you know our judicial officers serve to the age of 70. Therefore, at the age of 70, Honorable Speaker, to subject someone who has diligently served his nation to the indignity of going to queue at the National Treasury to pursue their pension payments is not fair to these people who are otherwise seniors in our society, not seniors in terms of the seniority of the positions that they held as judges, but also in age. And therefore, it is only fair that we transition their pension in the manner in which it was provided for this bill, and because Honorable Speaker is just in reply, I don't want to go back to what was said at the time of moving, but it's a very progressive piece of legislation, one that will ensure that judges in their retirement live with the dignity that they deserve, Honorable Speaker, so that they do not suffer the indignity that many of them have suffered in the past. And Honorable Speaker, when you serve as a judge, it's like the position that you are serving in as Speaker today. You are looked at in a way that the society where you came from, where you live, they have certain expectations of you. Therefore, Honorable Speaker, if you are living an undignified life, it's not just reflective of you as a person, but also of the institution that you served. And that is why, to protect the image and the integrity and the independence of our judiciary, we are obligated, and I must thank all the members of this House who supported this bill, because we are obligated to ensure that we maintain the dignity of these retired officers, even in their retirement.
What's your point of view?
I do not mind to be informed by a former Speaker, Honorable Speaker.
Entirely, wholeheartedly support what the majority leader is saying. But let me just also, now that he has mentioned you, the Speaker who is on the chair, Honorable Majority Leader, do you know that the only institution out of the 3 institutions where a Deputy Speaker does not enjoy a pension, a Deputy Head of the institution does not enjoy a pension, is Parliament. So while we are dealing and giving this to our brothers and sisters in the judiciary, the same way we have done it for the Deputy President, for the Vice President, for the Prime Minister, for the Deputy Prime Ministers, and all those deputies of those institutions, we have failed to do the same for the longer arm of the state or the government for that matter. So, a Majority Leader, I would expect you also in the same zeal, and we are one Majority Leader we are all very proud of, very, very proud of in the manner you have steered this House. I would expect you to bring also a similar one for the Deputy Speaker of the Senate and the National Assembly. Thank you.
You can proceed, Majority Leader.
Honorable Speaker, you know, the Honorable Farah Malim, you know, there's a member from Muranga the other day who called him Honorable Fala. And we were at pains to try and explain to the member, there's a difference between Fala and Farah. So the Honorable Farah Malim is a distinguished member of this House who diligently served the House as a Deputy Speaker. And I want to agree with him that indeed in other institutions, the deputies of such institutions are not just an institution, an arm of government. When you are Deputy Speaker, you are a substantive office holder. That is why we elect the Deputy Speaker. The Deputy Speaker is not appointed by the Speaker or by anybody. We vote here during the first sitting of the House. As soon as we elect the Speaker, we elect a Deputy Speaker. Just like we elect the leader of minority and the leader of majority. And I want to agree with the Honorable Farah Malim, probably with time, only that I don't know whether I would be the right person to move that particular piece of legislation. It is high time we consider deputy speakers and leaders of majority and leaders of minority, because we are also serving constitutional offices. And it is high time we started thinking about this. And I want to encourage the Honorable Farah, since he's a distinguished member of this House and a veteran, to encourage some of our younger members to take care of the older ones also in this House, including himself and yourself, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, in terms of a pension bill that will also extend to the positions of deputy speakers, the substantive deputy speakers, probably the leaders of majority and the leaders of minority, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I was saying this bill was long overdue, and I had said, Honorable Speaker, that judges serving to the age of 70 years also offer the country the best of their productive life. Many of them you find are appointed at the ages of 40, 50, and therefore someone who served for close to 30 years in public service. And you know, again, they have limitations. They are restricted from engaging in business or active social life, that they also sacrifice a lot of their active social life, and also forgo many significant opportunities in life just to preserve their impartiality as judges, because it is said that they must be beyond Caesar's wife in terms of impartiality and being objective in the conduct of their work as judges. And therefore, we are obligated, and that's what I was saying in response, that I thank all the members who supported this bill. And I want to beseech the House that even as we conclude, that we will be able to adopt and pass this second reading, so that we may prepare to go into the third reading, and invite anyone who may have an amendment. And anyone doesn't mean members of parliament, even if they're judicial officers, judges, that maybe have found something within the debate that they need to be amended. This is the time to invite anybody who may want to engage. And I say this, Honorable Speaker, is important because, you know, Honorable Speaker, I have seen even very senior people in this country have not understood our processes. You remember during the Finance Bill of 2024, when we brought the bill, we concluded the second reading. There are many Kenyans who assumed that the bill had passed and become law. And they were incited that the bill has already passed, not knowing that that was just the second reading. Should there be any amendments, including correcting a comma or a full stop within the text of the bill, it has to go into the committee of the whole House and the third reading for you to be able to amend. And I say that so that even those out there who may want to amend anything in this bill, this is the time to approach your elected representatives to amend on your behalf. And with that, Honorable Speaker, let me say this bill will, in a very significant way, bring back the honor that those long-serving members of our judiciary deserve, and also bring great honor to the judicial officers who will be retiring. And the bill is a good and very progressive piece of legislation, Honorable Speaker, and I beg to reply and beg for your support.
Thank you. Honorable members, let's move to the next order. Order number 10. Should we resume debate? Okay, read.
Order number 10, motion, debate on the President's address, fourth and final day.
Thank you. Yes, I will give Honorable Farah Malim, member for Dadaab. Yes.
The question on the judges is being deferred to another date?
Proceed, Honorable
Madam
Farah.
Speaker, can I proceed with this? Madam Speaker, I also want to go on record. Madam Speaker, I also want to join other members of Parliament in going on record of applauding and congratulating the head of state of this country for the State of the Nation address that he gave the other day, and his track record for the last 3 years, and say, indeed, in this country, we now have a transformational president. Serious economic transformational president who has an agenda, a vision, and this vision is going to take us to the next level of development. Madam Speaker, I must admit that I'm in unfamiliar waters. I cut my teeth in politics for the last 30-odd years, finding faults with the governments that were there over the day. Madam Speaker, I first came to Parliament in 1992. And I first came to Parliament in 1992. And a member behind me says that the Madam Speaker was not born then. But I must assure you that you were born because we've known you for many years as a leader. And I was in the opposition. And I'm used to finding faults with the government of the day. I literally found faults with each and every one of them. I think I was closest to the government of Mike Baki, who did a lot of good things for this country. But I had issues with the equity in the allocation of the projects that were allocated during his time. I think a little bit lopsided and not as fair and as universal in this country as we have now. And I can tell you, and I've said this many times before, when we were through with the elections, His Excellency the President invited me once to go to State House, out of the blues. And when I went there, he told me, Farah, we are looking for a new Kenya. And those of you who supported me in the elections, as well as those who never supported, I want the majority leader to listen to what I'm saying. Majority leader, you are engrossed in something. You're supposed to be listening to me. I said, His Excellency, order, His Excellency, His Excellency, wait, Shabir. I want him to listen. I mean, everybody else is listening. The country is listening. The only thing is because he has to listen to what I have to say, being a ranking member. And that's it. Shakir, you didn't come to Parliament in 1992. So now can I say, I want to. And for the first time, when I was invited to the State House, His Excellency told me, look, this is going to be an administration that is going to unite this country. And I'm going to serve equally those who voted for me and those who did not vote for me because they're all Kenyans. And Farah expect good tidings. And you better start working out the projects that are of utmost importance in your own region. And of course, we mentioned the projects that were there. On the spot, in the same place, he called. I talked about the Garissa, the Madogo, Garissa, Dadaab, Liboi, Harhar Road, in my constituency, which is supposed to be part of the great African highways that are supposed to literally connect the continent. And he called his minister for transport at that time and roads and told him, do you have programs for that? The minister had some things at his fingertips. He said, we are looking to see if we can get funding for the design of that road. He told him, accelerate that design. We need to connect the government, the country, in every way. Madam Speaker, since that time, I now have national grid going all the way to Dadaab. And I'm hoping the national grid is going to go all the way to Liboi, all the way to Harhar. And that goes for all the regions in this country, including the regions that were really left behind. And I'm talking about such regions as Luo Nyanza, Eastern Province, all of the north, all those areas. There are projects there. There are dams that have been put in. We're getting medium dams, we're getting small ponds, and we're getting the big dams also coming to the region. And that exactly is what a nation building is about. Everything that was there at that time, at the time when this administration assumed the reins of the government, we had a problem with the cost of living. It's been handled from 240 shillings to what do you call the 2 kilogram maize meal to 120, 130 now. We had issues with teaching. For the first time, we're getting almost 100,000 teachers, 76,000 employed so far. Madam Speaker, can I have 5 more minutes? Fair enough, thank you. 100,000 teachers are going to be employed in less than 4 years, in about 4 years. Doctors are getting employed. The medical field itself, with all the imperfections that were there before, now there's hope. Hospitals are being built. I have a TVET in my own constituency, and in that TVET, there are going to be hostels which are going to be built for the students who are going to be there. development is going to the four corners of the country. And I'm talking about Dadaab. I'm hoping also to get housing. The affordable housing is in Dadaab. Right now, we have markets. We have, I drilled more than 45 boreholes in less than 3 years in my constituency. A record number that has not been drilled for all the 60-something years or 60-odd years before that. We have had a record number of ponds, Madam Speaker. And now we are looking at taking serious, innovational, technological steps. We are looking at an infrastructure that essentially is going to connect the four corners of this country. The road all the way to Mandera for us is there. Our children along that corridor are seeing tarmac for the first time. The road to Dadaab is going to start, I think, in as early as January next year. And these are the kind of things that we're looking at. I sat with some friend who was involved in the Nyayo car. I don't know if you remember the Nyayo car, a model efforts that was done by the government of the day that time. And because there was a lot of mediocrity in the discussions and the deliberations on the way forward to establish a car that today would have matched the Toyotas and the Mazdas and all these other vehicles that are also built, the Mahindras that were built in third world countries. What were hitherto third world countries, because Japan at the time of, what they call after the Second World War, was a very poor country. We threw away that because we looked at the market. You're not supposed to look at the domestic market alone. You're supposed to look at the globe for that matter. And the fact that that would have spurred a technological takeoff that would have put us again to look for other electronic things like televisions, like what do you call it, the stereos, all those technologically advanced things, all the way to mobile phone, for the telephones for now. So it is actually, when you dream and you dream big and you have a vision like this, Madam Speaker, the nation, it will be in a position to really go far. If you don't dream, and I am a perfect witness and mover and shaker of a dream in my own first time when I came in here. We had only 52 students going to universities in the north, from the north those days in the national universities in the country here. Only 52 students. Honorable Kenan was one of the student leaders who was there at that time. I put in an affirmative action motion. We started bringing in about 550 in the first year. Today, student population from the north in the universities in Kenya are more than 20% of the overall. Within 30 years, there's such a powerful transformation that we actually are unable to get jobs for the graduates from our region. Before we could not even, I was in Dadaab, and the UN bodies were there, and jobs were available, and it was difficult to find even a diploma holder to be employed there by the UN. But today there's such a glut that you want 100 doctors or 200 doctors from the north who are without jobs, you'll get them in a matter of 1 hour. And they're there going all over the world, going in other parts of the continent and other regions in the country and working as doctors, as engineers, as lawyers, as everything. So when you dream and you take the first steps towards that dream and that vision, you will definitely get somewhere. Before you can take off and reach that pinnacle, you must initially dream and take deliberate steps towards that dream itself, that vision itself. And you are definitely going to go very far. Madam Speaker, I had the benefit. Can I have a few more minutes, Madam Speaker? 2 more minutes just to wrap. And ask Shabir Shakil to, if he's a bit sick these days, let him nurse his wounds. I can see he holds his hands always with a sling. I don't know who bet him. But anyway, I had the benefit of going to a prestigious university or school of business in South Korea for one of the modules of the MBA course I was doing. And he was with me also, yes. And I agree with that. He was with me. And what happened is that when you see what South Korea was at the time we got independence, the president of the time, who was a military ruler, was called Park Chung-hee. He was so broke. He needed $800,000, less than $1 million, to facilitate his own delegation to go all over Europe and America, looking for scholarships for children or students from South Korea in the field of technology. And he didn't have that money. He had to come and borrow it from Kenyatta, Jomo Kenyatta. He came here on a visit and borrowed that amount of money. Madam Speaker, I as a former Deputy Speaker, sometimes I should get a little bit more time than the others. Anyway, can I have 2 more minutes just to wrap it up? And ask Shakir Shabir to respect seniority. Now, he went all over these countries and got 3,000 scholarships in prestigious universities in America and in Europe for students from South Korea in only the field of technology. Only the field of technology. Whereas we're taking a lot of time in our country right now training procurement guys and BAs and other things that do not help us in that technological off-tech. He got those 3,000. Those 3,000 went to the top schools in the world. And they're the ones who came back and spurred the technological takeoff of South Korea in the way it is. And in 45 years, they're able to do what they did, which is unbelievable. I mean, from having the same GDP as us, today their GDP is $2.8 trillion? And ours is only $136 billion. That is what made the difference. Now it's never too late. I see ourselves right now as taking off in the same manner as that dreaming, visionary South Korean president, who was a military dictator, went on a mission to make sure his country becomes a first world in the shortest possible time. And it did. Now we have taken off now ourselves. We need to give all the support to our president. We need to walk the talk with him. We need to eliminate all these naysayings and the rest and petty things. The other day somebody said, when it was asked, Lee Kuan Yew was asked, how were you able to perform so much better than our own country when we were together at the same level at the time of independence? He said, you killed your visionary Tom Mboya. South Koreans did not kill me.
Okay, next, Honorable Millie Odhiambo, member for Suba North.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. And Madam Speaker, I want to thank the President for the State of the